The member for Fredericton South and leader of his party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to start off by thanking my staff, Amanda Wilderman, and in the last couple of weeks, Shannon Carmont, who hitted for her while she was out and actually got us going before Amanda came on. As well as Josh O'Donnell, Pascal DeRosa-Hickey, Lindsay DeMerchant, and Taeyeon Kim, along with a wonderful cast of interns from our universities. I also want to thank the hardworking staff of the Legislative Assembly, Mr. Speaker, who support us in our work on behalf of New Brunswickers. From the outside, it's not that obvious to people, but it takes an entire village to make this place work effectively and efficiently and smoothly, including the efforts of our Corps of Commissionaires and our security staff, and of course, most recently, the addition of Chef Rick, who helps make sure that we're taken care of on that side of things. Mr. Speaker, New Brunswickers had high hopes for what this minority situation in the legislature might achieve, as I did, and things started on a high note, with a letter from the Premier last fall to all party leaders outlining the steps he intended to take to make the legislature work. He wrote, "Without a doubt, New Brunswickers chose to elect the legislature we have for a reason. They want more perspectives involved, and they want us to work together. The way that majority governments have functioned with bills determined by government and private and opposition simply criticizing is no longer acceptable to citizens. They want a legislative assembly that is not scripted political bickering. They want it to be a place where all 49 members, privileged enough to serve, put party aside and act together for the broader good." Mr. Speaker, I concur, and in my speech, in reply to the throne speech, I proposed a way forward for this legislature, which was to identify the common ground we all share that reflects the most heartfelt needs of New Brunswickers and work together on that common ground to put in place solutions that are desperately needed. And I, in that speech, identified quite a list of work we could do together based on looking at our platforms. However, we end this session where the atmosphere in the chamber really hangs quite heavy with the echoes of scripted political bickering. The Premier has decided to align himself with extremely conservative premiers to the west of Quebec and has yet to meet with the premiers from Atlantic Canada, who are of different parties, some of them. I am pleased, however, Mr. Speaker, that the members of Cabinet have readily made themselves available to members and demonstrated a willingness to collaborate. In particular, I want to highlight the speed at which the Minister of Social Development moved to ensure that the first time in New Brunswick we had out-of-the-cold shelters in our major cities to ensure the homeless had a place to go. The Minister of Finance, who managed to bring through, finally, after a long wait, the overhaul of two very important pieces of legislation, the Cooperatives Act and the Credit Unions Act. And that's going to make a huge difference for both of those movements and for the people of this province. I want to also recognize the Minister of Health, who accepted my proposal to establish an all-party committee to work on reforming our healthcare system, which hopefully can progress in the original spirit that I think we all entered this minority legislature with. The Minister of Education and Early Child Development has been very open to discussions with members, and in particular, I know for sure the Green Caucus is education critic on many occasions and traveled to her riding, which is very much appreciated. The Minister of Transportation has been willing to go on the ground in local ridings to see and look at problems with roads and bridges firsthand, which is tremendous to see, and I know we spent time in Kent North looking at the situation there with our member for Kent North. And the Minister of Energy and Resource Development, who's initiated an all-party caucus, an all-party outdoor caucus, which has had an initial get-together, and certainly I think all members who participate are looking forward to seeing how that might develop. So I'm looking forward to getting out around the province this summer, Mr. Speaker, and try and ensure that I'm in all corners of our province as leader. Given this election campaign, though, in the last year, many of us have had little time to take a break, to recharge our batteries and ponder the meaning of life or spend extended period of time with family and friends. So I hope everyone has the chance to do that. Take a little bit of a vacation. I'm sure the people of this province will understand that that is necessary sometimes, to take a little time off to just recharge and come back in the fall when we sit again to do our very best for the people of this province. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Le chef de l'opposition officielle.